Bonjour tout le monde, welcome back to Parisian Street Style with me, Farah. I am 4 years in Paris this July, and so I had to share with you a little special video about Paris. So without further ado, let's get right into it and I hope you enjoy. So after 4 years living in Paris, I'd love to share with you what I'm used to now versus what I'm still getting used to. And so let's get into the juiciness. Let us start with what I'm still not used to, and we'll end on a brighter note. Doing admin and the paperwork. There's so much paperwork in Paris, and Paris is quite slow on, getting things online and in fact being online, having systems that are online. A lot of things are a little bit antiquated here, and you have to still fill out paperwork sometimes by hand. They're getting a little better than when I first moved here, but it's still quite a jumping through hoops game. So I'm still getting used to admin, and luckily I've had such wonderful people in my life that have helped me along the way. Now it's my partner. We do all the admin together, and God bless, because without them, I don't know where I'd be. Number 2, the rent here is so high. It's crazy. I'm living in a 35 square meter flat, and let's be real here. Let's talk real numbers. It costs 1,060 euro, and that's because I live in Les Batignolles. It's in the 17th arrondissement. It is very, very cute, and it's also highly, highly sought after. It's basically like a little village in Paris, and you have so many cute cafes and restaurants and stores, and it's also very, very really real Parisian people live here. I've seen a few expats around here, but really expats, tourists don't really know about Les Batignolles. If I'm breaking the secret, Parisians, please don't kill me. But really, it's such a great place to live. But at the same time, because of the location, your rent. Number 3, I can't still navigate the post office. If I'm gonna pick up a package, then you get a little slip, and then you just give it into the post office, and that's fine. Then they just, give you your package. But if I have to send something, there's a whole system. You have to go into this little computer, you have to type out where your package is going, you have to get all the little facts and figures right. And now that I know a little bit more French, it is better, but it's still mind-boggling. It's not a simple, you get your stamp, your post, and you stick it on and you send it off. No. There's a whole thing. So I am still struggling with that. Yeah, and it's sad. Okay. 4 and also 5 are a little bit serious, so I just want to hold space and also give out a trigger warning before I talk about these topics. If you're very sensitive to mental health, to suicide and things like that, I would suggest you skip over to the next part. There are chapters in this video, and I'm gonna leave down below where you can skip on to, and so skip 4 and 5, just a trigger warning for anyone who is a little bit sensitive right now. Okay, with that, let's go into it. I'm really, really saddened by the amount of burnout, depression, anxiety in the society here, and also poverty. There are so many homeless people. It breaks my heart. And you see them everywhere. You see them on the metro, you see them on the sidewalks, you see them when I go to the Bonjour I to get bread, there's a guy sitting there, and as many times as I can, I try to give them something, especially if I've seen them more than once. On the metro, it's terrible. There's just, depending on the line you're on, there's so many people just coming in and out and asking for money, and it's, yeah, and sometimes even if you're sitting on a terrace, that can happen. So it's really, really saddens me. And about the depression, the burnout in the society in general, I have noticed after living here for 4 years how like mental health here is a thing, and I know it's a thing everywhere, but I think that it's really good to speak about it, and that's why I'm doing that now. I have friends who have been depressed, who are depressed, who struggle with bipolar disease, who struggle with, chronic depression. And it's a real thing, it's a real disease. And the thing is, if it happens from you and it's a natural occurring thing, like you developed it when you were younger or something in your life happened, but a lot of what I'm talking about is due to the work situations here, is due to the companies and the work environment that induces the burnout, induces the depression and anxiety. And yeah, that's not cool, and I'm not used to it. And I feel so lucky to be an entrepreneur and to be able to set my own times and work on my own rhythm and do what I love. Because of this, it's just really scary to me. And so I just want to hold space for anyone who's going through that right now. Yeah, you have my empathy completely. Okay, the fifth, and this is also pretty serious. It's the levels of feminicide. I don't know if this is a French word, but basically when women are being murdered or committing suicide. Well, it's just basically the murder and suicide of women due to desperate domestic situations, either domestic violence or, there's so many horrible things out there. And the thing is, I'm really, really surprised, because coming from a third world country and coming from, to be honest, cultures like Pakistan and India, you do hear about those kind of, and it's totally backwards to me. It's backwards that, men dominate over women and oppress women, and women are stuck in their situations. And for me, that's just not okay. And it's one of the things when I came to France, I was like, oh, okay, it's going to be a lot better here. And it's true that how you are treated in general as a woman, as opposed to being in Pakistan and being in India, and I've been in both and I've lived in both, you are treated differently, and at least on the front. But I do also hear a lot of my friends still complain. And I think that it doesn't affect me as much because, and sadly, I'm very, very desensitized, because I've lived in places like Pakistan, India, where the stares were a lot more, how do you say that? A lot more dangerous. And when you would be looked at or you would be talked to, there was an actual danger to your life and on your well-being. I don't want to reduce it here, because I do realize that there is danger out there. It's just like when I compare the places, I'm very desensitized. So it just might be me. I'm taking it on me, and everyone's perception, everyone's experience is different. So, but I do know, and I have heard, and there's posters everywhere. There's a movement in France now to bring awareness to feminicide, to domestic violence. And the thing is, when I have faced some domestic violence, unfortunately, arrived here, had a situation, and I went to the police to file a complaint, and there was no help. I was just able to file a report, but there was no one to protect me or my kids. There was no one to look out for me. And I can see that it's such a desperate situation if you are a woman alone. And I just really feel for the women, and that is not okay. And that should not happen in a country that's civilized and developed. It shouldn't happen anywhere, you know, that's just not okay. And this needs to stop. So that's something I'm not used to. I will never be used to it. So, okay, so let's brighten this video up a little bit. If you are listening to my, what I'm not used to, I have to shake it off a little. And let's get into the things that I really, really have gotten so used to about living in Paris. So what's totally normal to me now is the way I eat here. I eat so much more bread. I eat so much more apéro food. Apéro food contains like cold cuts, which is called charcuterie here. There's also like, you know, apéro food is like olives, crackers, chips, and then you have some kind of spirits or wine along with it. And sometimes we just have that for dinner with a salad. And that's okay. That's the way we eat here, especially in summer. Wine with meals. Okay, I have a funny story for you. When I first got to Paris, I had gone to the supermarket and I bought some wine. And in other countries out of France, wine is a celebratory drink. Like, you buy wine on a special occasion. You don't drink wine on the daily. Wine is not part of your, you know, daily lifestyle, your daily diet. So I went out and I bought some wine, and we were celebrating something, and I prepared a nice dinner, and I came home, and my boyfriend, like, I was like, hey, I got some wine, and he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, I thought we could celebrate. Waiting for the, oh wow, you know, the excitement. And then he's like, oh yeah, that's great, you got wine, yeah, cool. And I was like, oh, is it? Oh, I was like, hold the phone. Like, I'm like, why aren't you more excited? And he's like, I'm very excited about what we're celebrating, but I have to be excited about wine. And then from that point on, he explained to me that wine is super normal here and that they have wine all the time. And it's just like that. So that's my wine story. The second or third thing I'm used to here is that I speak French first everywhere. So whether it's just, yeah, I'm so used to just speaking French first, whether I'm ordering in a restaurant or in the supermarket or in admin or on the phone or, you know, talking to people on the street, whatever it is, I speak French first. That's normal here. And you know why you do that? It is true that French people, it's taken better here. It's absorbed better when you speak French first, because while French people can speak English, they have a basic level, most of them, they don't necessarily always choose to. And because they haven't spoken to anyone in English in a long time, or they haven't practiced it, they feel very, very vulnerable doing that. And understandably, I know a little Spanish, which is dormant, and if I was to, you know, like a Spanish person stopped me in the street and started speaking to me in Spanish, I would just be like, So I totally get that, Frenchies. And yeah, I'm here to speak French first. The third thing, and this might sound really like duh, but using the metro and navigating the streets. I am a horrible navigator, but now living in Paris for 4 years, I can do that. Ooh, yay! Yes, it is a relief because I can get to my appointments on time. I can get to places without being lost. It's huge for me. So please celebrate that with me. Thank you. Number 4, dressing for the weather. This is huge for me. You don't know how huge this is, because I swear for the longest time I didn't know how to do this and it was such a mess. So now I have all my coats for different seasons. I have jackets for different seasons. I have shoes for different seasons. I have accessories like scarves and hats and gloves, and I'm just so prepared, and that makes me so happy. Number 5, I'm used to, and it's normal for me to see Paris as both grungy, dirty. There is also a population which doesn't have a lot of money versus very, very wealthy on the opposite end, glamorous, elegant, luxe. So there's two sides of Paris, two main contrasts, which is, you know, the more well-to-do and like bourgeois, they call them, and then there is the, I don't even know what to call them. I really don't like names and labeling and stereotype, but let's just say the people who have less than the bourgeois, okay, who are living more modestly, and unfortunately those areas tend to be more ghetto and more, I call it populaire here, those kind of areas. There's like a mix of people, a mix of economies, and it's just like kind of a mixing pot and a melting pot. And I think in the middle somewhere there's the bobo, and they're the people who are like younger and working, and they're making their money, and yeah. Okay, number 6, not 7. Number 6, and then we're ending it off here, is that I know how to make my appointments now. Whether it is for the doctor, the hairdresser, the hair salon, for nails, for dentists, for admin, I can make my own rendezvous. And that is such a revolutionary thing for me. Anyway, my friends, I'm ending this video here. It's my 4th year in Paris, so there's so much more to share, so many more stories for you, so much more. I am a style consultant and personal stylist here, and I just really love my life here, and I share all about it on this channel. I share all about what I do. I share my styling tips and fashion info that I get. So if you're interested in knowing more about Paris from my perspective and about fashion, subscribe down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here, for the people coming back time after time. Love you, and I will see you in my next video. À la prochaine. Ciao.